Hey family, welcome to How Love Works, where we talk about the principles for lasting love. Why don't men like smart women, successful women, alpha female? Or, on the other hand, why don't men like wholesome, virtuous Christian women? Well, let me tell you a secret, ladies. Men have two areas that we deal with when we deal with women all the time. Two little areas that we constantly deal with when we relate to women. First area that we always relate to women from is that area of the fact that we are opportunists. Men are opportunists, meaning we're always looking for the highest value that we can receive from any opportunity that presents itself, be that a financial situation, be that even a game, a relationship, whatever it might be. We're going to try to derive the highest value that we think that we can achieve. And we think that we can want to attract the most valuable woman that we can have and pursue in our lives. That's number one. Number two, we work from the concept of ROI. ROI really means is return on investment. And all that really means is that we're interested in trying to constantly determine quality. We're trying to quantify value. That's what we're constantly doing when it comes to ROI. So as a man, when we get into relationships, we're always trying to determine reward and cost. Okay, we're trying to determine, is it cost effective to invest in this woman in this relationship, and what will the outcome, the reward be? Is it worth the pursuit? Is it worth the cost? Because there's always going to be a cost involved. See, last time we had this discussion, we ended up dealing with the issue of losing at hello. And so that's why many times our relationships primarily end up in the ditches, because we don't hear each other. We don't see each other. And as a result of that, we come out with two different situations in our relationships oftentimes. And the problem is that we're so confused by the outcome of those end results. So that's why I've entitled our discussion today, What Women Say, What Men Hear. What women say, what men hear. Now, my objective is merely, I'm not here to tell you what to say or what not to say, or if what you're saying is bad or that it's good. What I'm here really to say is that I'm here to make you aware of what men are actually hearing when they hear some of the most common phrases and statements that men and women, make in their intimate relationships. So what I want to do is I wrote a few things down here. I want to talk about the things that most of the time we hear in our community. Now, we've heard this before. One of the things that we hear a lot of is, I don't need a man. You've heard that phrase. You've heard the other phrase, hard to find a good man. You heard, men are intimidated by me. And lastly, all men are fill in the blank. All right. These are just sort of common day phrases, that you hear thrown around in conversations. So what I want to do right now is I'm going to give you just a scenario of basic conversations that I've heard women say, and not necessarily to me, but to others. And this is some of the information they've conveyed. Okay, here's a conversation between a young woman and a young man. And the young woman says that she finds it very difficult. She finds it very difficult to find a good man today who isn't intimidated by her. So, of course, her male friend says, well, how do you know that he's intimidated by you? And she says, two reasons. Two reasons only. Number one, I got it go in zones. Okay. I look good. I know I look good. And I got a lot going for me. And he's not trying to wife me up. He's not trying to marry me. That's number one. Number two, I'm out here. I'm on the grind. I'm trying to get my education. I'm trying to get my master's degree. I'm trying to do what I got to do. And that doesn't seem to move him, So he must be intimidated. The second is, you'll get this, it's almost like a resume, or you see this statement here on often a lot of the dating sites. You'll see this. You'll say, here's a 32-year-old, happy, holy, smart, direct, and articulate. I've been told that my lack of dates is due to, number one, men don't like smart, direct women. Number two, I'm satisfied and sanctified in Christ, which sends the message that I really don't need anyone. Are men really that shallow and insecure? This is what she says. She says, I'm certainly not going to be less than I am just because of someone else's insecurities. Now, let's find out how men hear that. This is what some of the men have said when they heard both of these scenarios or these discussions in this particular scenario. Number one man or several men said, well, a woman who is pursuing her education like she's pursuing it, she's thinking of herself that she's all that in a bag. All that's not necessarily evil, but the men were saying this woman is not even remotely concerned or probably even wanting a boring family and domestic life, especially with guys like me. That's number one. Number two, I don't see where I fit in. That's what the brothers are saying. I don't see where I fit in. All right. Or I don't see what my role is. All right. Number three, what could I provide that she would ever need? All right. Now, the takeaway in this situation is men are evaluating women on far more than their credentials and status. So a lot of women are not aware of that. They're actually shocked. But here's another scenario, an absolutely gold mine. All right, so you have a situation where a woman is saying, I own my own house, I own my own vehicle, have a great career. And when God sends me my Boaz, we are going to have a great home to start in. Now, when brothers hear that, he doesn't hear it the way she may mean it, but this is where he hears. He says, oh, this is what the brothers are saying. Oh, okay, she's already micromanaging me. She's already telling me what she gonna do and what I'm gonna do. She's already castrating me and sending me to Castration Nation. Okay, so I'm sure she didn't mean any of that, but that's what they hear. Okay, because he didn't get a vote. She just told him this is what's gonna happen, right? Again, if the roles were reversed, women wouldn't most likely have an issue with that. The main thing is the main thing with the women, as long as they get to call the shots on how the house is going to be, where it's going to be, whatever. But that's the situation you get with the brothers. That's one. Okay, I think in the last one here is you have a situation where a woman says, I'm willing to let a man have authority when I feel he is ready. Okay. But if he slips up even once and makes a bad decision, I'm going to let him know immediately. But I still want to be led by a man because I'm a lady. Oh, man. Now, this is what the brothers hear. The brothers hear this. Okay, this is a child-parent relationship. I'm on a trial. This is a I'm on a trial notice here. Any little fatal step right or left, if I don't toe the line, I'm outie, in terms of my credibility with her. And brothers, I'm gonna tell you, that's almost a death nail in the heart of a man when he feels like he has no credibility, and more importantly, he has no respect from his woman. Most brothers, they're probably not gonna sign up for that. Okay, just so you know, they're not gonna sign up for that one. All right, so that is one of the other things. That's one of the situations that you're gonna hear. But I'm gonna give you these last few here and call it a night. Okay, when a woman says that they are bright or that they are smart, right? Men hear opinionated, controlling, and know it all. That's what they hear. When women say they are methodical and logical and analytical, men hear difficult, harsh, no heart. When women say, I'm a good woman, any man would do well to have me in their life. Men hear, I'm morally superior to you, and prideful and arrogant. When women say, I'm a career woman, I'm an alpha female and powerful, and I like to empower other women. Men hear, workaholic, dominant, totally focused. No need for me. So obviously, all of these qualities that I just discussed and these last few bullet points that I just discussed, not all women really feel this way, even when they say all the things that I've said and all the little scenarios that I've given. No, women don't believe all of that. They're not saying it that way to try to trumpet their own horn. Oftentimes what it is just a failure to communicate. I've always said what you have to be able to do, ladies and gentlemen, you have to be clear, you have to be concise, you have to be direct on what you really want. But one of the biggest problems that we have in our relationships is, like I always say, we don't have a relationship purpose. We don't know what we really, really want in our relationships. We go in blind, thinking everything's going to happen by chance, everything's going to happen by osmosis. Something as important as a relationship, especially a long-term lasting relationship, is all going to happen organically. And I just don't believe that, because the business, the success, and all of the other benefits that men and women derive in their lives comes from planning. I don't see any reason why you would think any different when it comes to love. You need to plan. You just need to. Now, I know that's not romantic, but most of the world feels totally different than we do here in the West. Perhaps they know something we don't, or something we have forgotten. The choice is yours. Now, the takeaway that I got, and I'm going to leave you with this, is that you need to determine, I'm talking to ladies now, you need to determine whether or not you want to be a career woman. This is if you want to get married or if you want to be partnered for life. Okay? You need to determine, do you want to be a career woman or do you want to be a woman with a career? My wife is a woman with a career. Okay? She sees a career just like I see a car, just like I see my tools. Just, it's just a tool. It's not something that determines her identity. Our relationship, our goals in our relationship, the intimacy that we built over 39 years, the family that we built, the legacy that we're leaving behind when we both go, the growth that we've made as individuals, that is the most important thing. The meaning that we derive from the responsibility that we both take for our relationship and one another in the relationship. That's more important than all of these things like degrees, money, success, prosperity, entrepreneurship, and material stuff. Those things are just tools. We love people and use things. We don't do it the other way. That's why our lives have prospered as it has. And that's why my ROI has been just phenomenal with my wife. It has been phenomenal. My return on investment far exceeded my wildest imaginations. So I'm going to leave you with this, ladies. If this makes some sense to you, you're going to have to shift. If you're going to keep your careers and all that, which I'm telling you, you might want to do. Keep your careers, keep your goals, all this other stuff. But if you want the love of your life, you're going to have to shift, have to make that shift after 5 o'clock out of being a masculine man and being all the things you have to be in order to make that money and to compete and fight and deal with those dragons. You have to shift out of masculinity into femininity, and you have to shift from being that hardcore workaholic into being a girl. Because all of those things don't work well when you're trying to build an intimate relationship. Just don't work. So, that's my time. I catch you. That's my time. I'm sorry. I get you. That's my time. I thank you for yours. It's one of them days. I catch you on the other side. God bless you.